Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Dr. Boyce Clark, founder of Lubricity Labs. I really appreciate you guys tuning in today. We're going to talk about the science and the chemistry of fine hair. I know we normally do this on Thursdays, and today we moved it to today for Friday, and I really appreciate you guys continuing to tune in. We moved it because I was very fortunate to be able to see U2 last night at the New Orleans Superdome, and let me tell you, they killed it. It was incredible. It was an amazing show. So I appreciate you again, you guys letting us roll it to today, so to Friday. So what we want to talk about today is fine hair, because we've been getting a lot of questions in from people saying, I have fine hair, I'm concerned about using your product because maybe it may weight my hair down, and other products I've tried, other conditioners and things, I don't use conditioner, or when I do, it weighs my hair down. So I wanted to just kind of talk today about the science and the chemistry of fine hair and what that means, and some of the things that you should avoid, and some of the things that can be beneficial if you do have fine hair. So obviously, it's intuitive that fine versus coarse hair would refer to the diameter of the shaft, but just kind of for the scientific classification, we have coarse hair, average hair, and fine hair. And in general, we talk about coarse hair is defined as being greater than 80 microns or micrometers, so that's a millionth of a meter. Average hair is around 60 to 80, and fine hair is less than 60. So I've drawn some pictures here because, as we may remember, a shaft of our hair has three primary layers. We've got the cuticle layer on the outside. That's the one that has the shingles that come up and down. And then beneath that, we have the cortex, and then the medulla. The cortex is the one that adds strength to our hair. So this is where the keratin is. These are flat parallel cells that run lengthwise, and they are what give us the strength in the hair. So I've drawn here kind of the difference between coarse, average, and fine hair, and I've highlighted this cortex layer. And you see in coarse hair, the ratio of the cortex is really large. It's the majority of it. In average hair, it's a little bit smaller, and in fine hair, sometimes we don't even have a cortex layer. So it's interesting because hair on our head is referred to as terminal hair as opposed to vellus or body hair. Body hair doesn't have a cortex to it at all. So sometimes people have fine hair and they don't have a cortex to it. So I mentioned that the cortex is what adds strength to our hair. So imagine if you've got a hair that's smaller in diameter, and the strength is reduced because there's not this structural component to it. That means that if you have fine hair, you're going to be more prone to damage from styling techniques, split ends, breakage, things like this. Those of you with fine hair are probably very familiar with this. I've kind of highlighted also on this one that because the ratio of the cuticle to the diameter in fine hair is greater, there's relatively more cuticle to it. That's the layer that raises up, allows water to get in if it becomes damaged. It's also the part that has the negative charge. So this is where we get static flyways, because as the hairs rub by each other, they generate static, and then they start repelling each other. You get the terrible static flyways generally in the winter when it's dry outside. Also, with fine hair having such a small diameter, it will take things like conditioner more heavily and weigh it down. Conditioners are designed to have a positive charge because the surface of our hair has a negative charge. So when you have lots of negative charges, more of the conditioner attracts and attaches to it. So that's a problem. That's why, and oftentimes, normally with less expensive kind of over-the-counter conditioners, you'll see hair getting weighted down. It's because there are components in there that are designed to just be a wax or a coating that go on top, and when you have all these negative charges, it's a lot of it gets attached more than you need, and you have hair weighted down. So let's say you have fine hair. What do? First thing is you should use a gentle shampoo, something with gentle surfactants. So you want something that's generally kind of called a daily use shampoo, but something that's not aggressive, because anything that's going to cause more damage to these cuticles you want to avoid. A lot of you say, hey, I don't use conditioner because it weights my hair down. So I can't stress enough today, don't avoid conditioning. It's important because when you shampoo your hair and you're removing the sebum and oils, the conditioner is what's going to replace things back to it. So it's important to use conditioner, but you want to use one that's appropriate. So I mentioned kind of the over-the-counter things. They'll use lots of silicones, generally a high percentage of them. These are agents that coat and cover the top. It's bad for fine hair. It's better for coarse hair. But you want to use something that is going to make a very thin layer and something that's not going to weight your hair down. So it's important to think about that. So in general, you want to use something that has a low percentage of silicones in it. Our products use 1% or less silicones in ours. So again, we're using this just as it's a great thing to reflect moisture and humidity, but at too high of a level, it will definitely weight your hair down, even if you have coarse hair, because it tends to build up. I mentioned before that our products are designed to be used as a system. The Q shampoo and the Q condition go together because the silicones that are in it, along with the other agents in the conditioner, get removed every time you use the Q shampoo, because the Q shampoo uses something called a cationic quaternary compound, big word, but a quat, and specifically it's called cetrimonium chloride. It's a fantastic conditioning agent for all hair, but specifically for fine hair, and it's really interesting because it also strips silicones away. So the very minute amounts of silicones that our products do apply to your hair are removed in the washing step, the shampooing step, because of the cetrimonium chloride. So again, if you've got fine hair, you want to use something that's going to do a very thin molecular weight film on it, and something that's going to not be like wax on a car that's just weighting it down and being really heavy. Also, something like silk proteins. So our treatment, our step 1 penetrate, actually contains both high molecular weight and low molecular weight silk proteins. The low molecular weight ones are absorbed into the hair shaft, so they actually go into, well, not so much this one, but into the cortex and add strength to it, whereas the long molecular weight ones, if you envision like a ribbon, they're like long ribbons, they'll actually wrap around the outside of the hair and tend to increase the diameter. So if you have fine hair, over time, what you'll see is an increase in the diameter of your hair. So I tell people often that use our products, specifically the treatment, that people with coarse hair are the ones who are going to see usually the most dramatic effect immediately from the treatment, although all people will see an effect. The dramatic effect comes from this thick cortex. But women that continue to use the shampoo and conditioner for about a month to 6 weeks are the ones with the fine hair that report that after a month or two of using the product, their hair is much more manageable, it's much thicker, fuller, and this is because primarily of the silk proteins that are then wrapping like ribbons around the outside of the hair and increasing the diameter of it. So if anyone has any questions regarding fine hair, please feel free to post them to this video or email us at customerlove@lubricitylabs.com, and we'll be glad to respond to you. And again, thank you guys for tuning in, and we always appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Thank you.